Hey you guys, what's up? My name is Asha Blaine and I am a solo acoustic artist out of Denver, Colorado, and I'm here to give you 7 tips on how to book your own solo acoustic shows, how to get paid to do it, and how to possibly make a career out of it if that's what you would like to do, and how to do it without any booking manager or booking agent at all. You can do it all yourself. So here's my tips too. I hope they help you. All right, so I'm gonna give a little background on who I am. I started doing solo acoustic music back in 2020 when COVID was happening, and I was in bands and I sang lead in a bunch of bands, but I did not play an instrument at all. I knew a little bit of acoustic guitar, but I knew maybe 3 chords, and like that's it. But I would not have considered myself a guitar player at that time. When COVID hit, you know, bars and restaurants and stuff were either closing down or they were limiting their space, and they would also stop booking bands because there's too many people in proximity, you know. But I did recognize that the places that were staying open were still having live music, but it was either solo or duo acts. And I was like really bummed out that like I wasn't gonna be able to play music because of COVID. And then I started a YouTube channel to get that up and get, you know, my singing out in that way. But doing it live, there's just something more fun with that, more risky, it just grows you more, and I wanted to do that. So I ended up saying to myself, well, if I want to keep doing music and I want to keep doing it live and perform, and possibly make money, maybe, then I should probably teach myself how to play guitar. And so I taught myself how to play. I ended up adding like a kick stomp to it, so it's like a very percussive thing. And then I have the tambourine on my other foot that adds like a percussive feel to what I'm doing. So it's not just guitar and vocals. I ended up adding more of a percussive vibe because it allows me to have bigger dynamics when I'm singing, because that's the type of singer I am. I like to be powerful and then lay back too. Yeah, so I taught myself how to play like 3 years ago, and I didn't intend for this to turn into like a full-time gig. I was just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants because I just was like, I just want to play. I just want to play out. And then it ended up becoming a full-time gig, which was quite a challenging process for me, but I'm very thankful and grateful today because now I have a full-time income. I'm a single mom taking care of 2 kids, and I get to be very thankful that the thing that I love to do, I can provide in that way for my family. So very thankful, very blessed to do it. And it keeps me from having a 9-to-5 job, keeps me from being in the corporate world. I don't want to do that at all. So yeah, I love doing this, and I'm here to give you the tips. All right, step number 1, you must create at least a 3-hour set list of music that you know will entertain other people, because if you're wanting to put yourself out there in the public, you need to have music that's going to entertain them, and that's usually going to be music that they know or that they're familiar with. If you're wanting to do something that's more original, you can do that. That's a little bit of a different avenue you can go towards, but if you really want to make money at it, then I would suggest starting out doing cover music first and getting your feet wet in that world, and then you can throw in the solo or the original music, or you can find places that do just original shows, original acoustic shows, which is totally fine. But right now we're just talking about basically how to set yourself up to do this consistently, and how to get paid to do it, and how to do it without a manager taking a cut from you or being involved. The norm in Denver is that the venues, the bars, the breweries, the food places that people hire live music for, they usually want around 3 to 4 hours of music. So I would set yourself up at least to have 3 hours of music that you can play. The genre that I go towards is definitely more rock music, 70s, 80s. I throw in some disco, I throw in some 90s, Alanis Morissette music, stuff that is just fitting my vocals and stuff that's fitting more just like who I am as an artist. I don't do country. A lot of people like country, but I don't do country. I don't do newer pop stuff, even though I think that country and new pop would go down really well. That's just not my genre, because I realize that rock goes over really well also in these venues. If you try to create a set list that's very obscure, I mean, it's fun to do and it's fun to learn songs that you really love and enjoy, but I think it's also really important to think about, what does the audience want? What is the audience gonna grab onto? Because the bar, the venue, the restaurant is hiring you to entertain these people. So you have to think about who is your crowd? Who is your audience? Like, even if you're just background music, which you have to be okay with knowing that you're either gonna be a background musician at some places, or you're gonna be in the forefront giving a performance and people are actually looking at you. You know, they have to be able to also enjoy it with you. And so I do think that there is a give and take. If you're going to perform for a living, you have to be able to read a room and read a crowd. But also, I think it's important that you have to own who you are as an artist too. Like, I love doing rock music. I love it. And I also love doing disco music. So that's what I'm gonna stay true to. And the venues that hire me know what they're getting themselves into when they hire me, because they understand my set list, they understand my strength and what I can bring to their bar. They know I can entertain, and then they know that I can keep their business going by keeping people sitting in their seats, having a drink or eating food and enjoying the whole atmosphere. So I would say, when you're creating your set list, have this in mind, because you are working with the venue to entertain people. Some places don't want to hear original music, and some people do. So it's just getting a feel for what the manager would like as well. What do they need? Because you are initially creating a service for them. So think of it as, you know, a business. You're creating a service and you're providing good live music for them to enjoy. All right. The second tip, or the second step you need to take, is, once you've created your set list, you need to practice, and practice. So much practice, because you can feel confident at home when you're practicing by yourself or whatever, but then once you get in front of a live audience, it's just a whole other ball game. And if you've ever performed before, you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, when you get in front of people, you start to get maybe intimidated, or like, oh my gosh, this is really happening, like, holy cow, I don't want to mess up, like all these things like flooding in your head. And then it gets really, really hard to focus. And then you think about, like, I don't want to mess up, and that's all you can think about, and then you mess up. So all of these things get into your mind. And if you're being honest with yourself, if you're a performer, this definitely happens when you're brand new at taking on a performance that you've never done before. So in Denver, I had a lot of experience performing with just singing with a band, and I loved that, and I felt confident with that. But when I first started playing, or when I first picked up the guitar, that was a whole other animal that I had to get used to with myself. And so something I feel like I did that could prepare myself, but then also I realized I wasn't prepared at the same time, was I practiced so much at home. I taught myself 30 or more songs in an entire month, brand new guitar, right? Easy songs that I knew I could play and sing at the same time, and learn them and practice them every single day. I was probably in my bedroom at least 5 to 6 hours a day practicing to make sure that I knew my stuff. And I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm so prepared. But then when you get in front of people, and you've never performed like that before in front of people, like with a guitar in your hand, it's like, whoa, it's just different. And even though I was prepared, there's other things like that you're mentally not prepared for. And you get used to those things as you gig more, but it's just like when you think you're prepared, go practice again. The best thing, one of the best pieces of advice I could give is just being overly rehearsed and knowing your stuff so well that you're not second guessing yourself, because the more rehearsed you are, the more confident you're gonna walk into a gig and not have any issues. To me, rehearsing, like being over rehearsed, is like, it's like tying your shoe. Like once you do it over and over and over again, it becomes, you don't really think about it and you can just do it with ease. And you're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're not thinking about what your rhythm hand is doing or your fret hand or whatever. And so I just think that once you're confident in what you're doing, you're able to actually enjoy the music and enjoy the whole all-around performance that you're bringing, and the audience can also enjoy it with you. So I just think that's one of the most important pieces of booking your show, is making sure that you are first and foremost prepared to do all of your music and to do it well. Yeah. Step number 3, or tip number 3 that I have for you, is record yourself playing live. When you get to a point with a song where it's really good, like good enough to post online, that you've done in like one take, then post it. Because once you start posting online, people will start to see like, oh, she plays music. But with that is you need to be consistent and post online at least once a week, so that people can start to expect that from you and start to see like, oh, you're posting every week. We can expect this from you. We know that you're a musician, blah, blah, blah. And if you want, you can post more than once a week, but you just need to make sure that you have enough material that's going to carry you out, you know, at least for 6 months, songs that you can play live, like in a video recording. So I actually have a couple bullet points, a couple of points to make on the whole subject of social media and how you put yourself out there as someone who's trying to get solo acoustic work consistently. And even if you don't want it consistently, you still have to put it out there, even if you want it just a little bit. Like say you want to play once a month or once every 2 months, or you have a schedule that's really crazy and you're only able to play once every couple months, that's okay. I just think that you still need to make it known online that you can play. And if people need you and they need to refer to you, they can go find those videos of you and say, oh, you can play. You played this live. You played this in your living room live. So, and that's what I did. I just started making videos of myself in my living room practicing, basically, and then I would post it and say, hey guys, I learned this new song, or like, I would love to come play at your venue, blah, blah, blah. So once you make it known that you are interested in playing at a venue, people start to perk up and say, oh, we need a musician to come play. So yeah, posting once or twice a week live performances is ideal. And something else I would do was I wanted to show that I could do an entire song, not just a clip. And some people say, yeah, just do a clip, but I personally think you need to see an entire song, because that's going to be realistic in a live performance, is a song from start to finish, not just a clip. But that's just me. So once you start being consistent about posting, it's important that you start hashtagging, like on Facebook and Instagram, and those are the only 2 social media platforms that I used to begin with. Start hashtagging on there. Hashtag live music, hashtag singing, hashtag gigs, hashtag live music. Did I already say that? Hashtag gig life, hashtag Denver restaurants, because I live in Denver. If you live in Chicago, it would be hashtag Chicago restaurants, hashtag Chicago breweries. But here, hashtag Denver live music, hashtag Denver music scene. I'm just throwing as many ideas as I can to you, because you want to be able to start networking in those communities that need live music. So think to yourself, who needs live music? Who needs live music in the summertime? Who needs live music in the wintertime? Who is having a party right now that needs live music? And I started getting more private gigs too, which can end up paying more. So you just need to think about who needs me, who would need my service. And a lot of restaurants want that. A lot of bars want that. A lot of breweries want that. Beer, like, you know, stuff that's going to get those people who are in the industry of food and drink and festival and events, you get their attention. So that's my advice to you. Just hashtag the businesses in that. It also goes in the social media category, but how I was able to get these gigs was they reached out to me. Once they saw that I have material, they saw that I could do an entire song live in my bedroom, is basically what I did. And I'm hashtagging these certain things. They ended up reaching out to me. I didn't have to reach out to a booking agent to book me. All of these inquiries came to me. I didn't have to do any. I might have done a little bit of reaching out or poking around here and there just to see what was going on, but I would say 95% of my bookings are coming from an outer source. But I have to put the material out there to show them that I am even someone out there who could provide that. So you do have to put in the work to put it out there. It will come back to you. This is totally how it worked for me. So I'm actually able to eradicate a lot of different steps by allowing people to come to me. You know, I don't have to fill out any kind of form for them to apply to go do that. I don't have to convince them that I'm a solo artist. Like, I actually have the material that they can refer to on my social media pages. And so once you do that, once you build your social medias and your reputation on social media, they can start to trust you, because I think that's the other thing too, is these establishments want to be able to trust the people that they're hiring. So make yourself trustworthy, make yourself workable with them, make yourself like you're partnering, like you're thinking about you're partnering with them. All right, another social media point that I can make, and this is optional because, and I'm saying that it's optional because I didn't do this at first, but I think it would be helpful if you did this. I would say create your own business page. Like, I have my own business page that's not Facebook or Instagram, but it's like an actual professional business page that if people want to find me or look me up, they can go to. And I have material on there. I have YouTube links. I have the things I provide. I have my set list, and they can go there and see like, oh, she actually has a professional page. So, you know, we can trust her even more. Sometimes having that professional page can really elevate your credibility at the same time, and showing that you have live material. And I'll tell you, when I first started doing this, I didn't have live material in a bar. I didn't have that because I was just starting out brand new, but I did have live material in my bedroom or in my living room. And I did a song from start to finish, and that's kind of all they want. That's all they want to know, is that can they trust your entertainment ability. Once you get to the point where you can record yourself at a bar, like, do that, because then people can say, oh, she's actually working out. But I didn't have anything to show for working outside of my house. So they did have to build a trust with me that was like, okay, you can do this in your home. We're going to trust that you can do this here. And so that was established as well. We had to build a trust with each other. So people will find you and will want to hire you even if you don't have live material at a bar. All of my stuff was done at home. Okay, my next step. Okay, so now, once someone reaches out to you, you're on your way to booking your first gig. You're on your way to booking possibly more gigs. What do you do? Who do you talk to? again, they're probably going to reach out to you. So the person whoever is hiring you or asking you like, hey, can you come play at our bar? You know, it could be the manager, it could be an employee that works there. And so what you need to do is when they call you, or a lot of times they'll message me online on Instagram, on Facebook. So once they reach out to you, they might say something like, hey Asha, hey Asha, we saw that you are, you know, playing music, you sound great. Would you be able to come play for us, like, you know, next Friday, whatever, for 3 hours? And blah blah blah. And then you'll be able to tell them like, yes, I can do that. And another point I want to make with this is once they actually call you and you talk about the details, they're going to ask you if you have your own PA, if you have your own sound system. In some places have it, in some places don't. Probably most places that you're going to play at are going to be smaller venues, because if you're a solo artist, they're not going to have big bands. They want someone that's just smaller and more contained. And so usually they're gonna require that you bring your own PA and sound system. So I had to go out and buy my own PA, and it was pricey. And so I think you need to get ready for that too, is that if you're trying to make a career out of it or not, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna have to invest in the things that you need for that. And I have a whole entire video. It's called my solo acoustic setup. You can go check that out, and I have all the things that I use for my gigs in that. But it's going to be dependent on whatever you do. Maybe you're a looper, maybe you just play guitar and sing. Whatever it is you do, you're gonna need to know what it is that you need. And this is what I suggest you do. When you're at home practicing, I would not practice like in dead air. Like, I would plug into a system, I would dial in all your sounds at the beginning and figure out your sound quality in your, I always say my bedroom, because that's where I practice, was just in my bedroom. In your living space, wherever you're at, I would get your sound dialed in before you go out and play, because you need to get used to how it sounds. One of the things that freaked me out when I first started was I had my own sound system, but I didn't have one. It was a good one, but it wasn't great for a solo setup, and I struggled with it because I couldn't always hear myself very well, and when in different rooms that you're in, it like the space of the room or the reverb of the room, it will like change depending on where you're going. So it would freak me out sometimes, and I'd be like, why do I sound different in this room, and then I sound like this in this room? So you get over that after you've done a lot of gigs, but when you're first starting, it can be a little intimidating. So I would highly suggest getting a really great PA system set up for a solo artist. Like, again, go check out my video, because I have a really good PA that I use that is really great for small to medium-sized rooms and great for a solo artist to feel comfortable with. So yeah, once the person, whoever's booking you, or the establishment is booking you, knows that you're set up, they know you have a set list that you can show for, they know that you have your own PA that you can haul, they know that you can entertain people for 3 hours, you know, then they can start to trust you and probably hire you back. And then once they schedule you, you put it in your calendar, and my advice to you is show up when you're first starting out, show up an hour early so that you can set up, so that you can get acquainted with the place, feel it out. That's what I did. I was like, I gotta be there an hour early, and I just gotta feel, you know, I was just weird about it. But now I'm like, I know my process. It takes me about 15 minutes to get set up, and I don't have to worry about it, and you know, I go. So I would say get there early so that you're also starting on time and stopping on time as well, because some bars and venues have noise ordinance policies, and they need, or like everybody's shift is over, so the music needs to be over now. You need to be respectful of the times, and start on time. Like if my time is from 7 to 10, I start at 7 o'clock on the dot and I end 10 o'clock on the dot. Also, you need to allow yourself to take breaks when you're performing, because you need to give it a rest. Eat some food. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna tell you, you gotta bring snacks, because you will get worn out. This is a whole other separate video that I need to make on like what happens at the gig. Like, how do you start to feel at the gig? Yeah, so start on time. I would say max take 2 breaks, 2 15-minute breaks. Don't sit and wait around and take as long as a break as you want. Respect the establishment, respect their time, respect the audience, be able to read what the room needs, and you'll be okay. Next tip I have for you is, okay, so how do I get paid? How do we talk about the payment discussion? And here's what I think. I think that as a new person, as a new artist on the scene, who is trying to establish themselves, who is trying to prove themselves worthy, because you have to. You can't just jump into a situation and expect that people are going to know you or even care about you. You must put on some humility and say, I'm willing to do this gig because for any amount, because I'm putting myself out there and I'm building trust with the venue. And that's really important. Just because you booked a gig doesn't mean you're gonna book another one. But the goal, of course, is to book another one. And I think also, when you're an artist, you might hear about other artists and hear about what they get paid, and then you might think, oh, well, I need to get paid that much, because if they're playing 3 hours, I'm playing 3 hours. I don't think that that's correct. I think you've got to be humble, and you've got to take what's given to you to show a respect, because you're not above anybody. However, you work hard and you got to prove yourself worthy, I think. But once you get, some establishments, they will pay you the same no matter what. Like they pay all their artists the same. And so if they're paying you, a high amount, you accept it and you bring your A game and you work really hard to do the best that you can and prove yourself worthy. I think that that's like a good approach. But if you're not sure, like if the establishment is asking you, like, how much do you charge? How much do you need? I think that comes over time, because that's something that I had to create for myself with, like, how much do I charge? I don't know. And I'm not going to talk about an exact dollar amount here, because that's going to differ from city to city, from artist to artist. And all I can say is you need to work with the establishment and say, what is your budget? What can you afford? What do you normally pay your other musicians who do 2 to 3 to 4 hours of music? Be workable, be flexible with the establishment, for sure. Build a trust, build flexibility. I think once you start to get to a point where you are getting booked a lot, you can make other decisions with yourself, with how you get paid. Like, say you get paid a higher amount at one establishment and you don't get paid as much at another place. I think that you can decide for yourself, do I want to take these gigs that don't pay as much? Because now you're going, like for me, I'm going based off what I need to pay, the bills I need to pay in my household. So say I have 2 gigs coming into me at once, like on a Friday, that says, I'll pay you a higher amount for this. And then the other one says, I'll pay you a lower amount for this, because this is what our budget is. I would have to take the higher amount because I've got a life that I've got to pay for, right? And that's okay. And I think over time you can express, to a place like, I'm really busy and I would love to come play for you, but I do have other offers coming to me that are higher that I would need to match. And because that's your worth as well, I think that you have to just have a conversation with yourself and say, like, am I okay doing it for this much? And do I think that because I've worked really hard that I can turn down a gig that's not going to pay as much, or can I ask if they have it in their budget to pay me more, because I've worked really hard to be worthy in your environment, and to keep your people entertained, and keep them happy. Because I think that you have to also not undermine, once you get to a point of credibility, not undermine your work as an artist. You know, like you would for any business that offers a great service. You up your prices because you are in competition, or you are maybe not necessarily competition, but you're working your butt off and you want to provide for your family, and that's just how it is. That's just how the world works. So I think it's okay at a point when you start to get a lot more work and credibility and favor in your community, that you can start to increase your amount. I don't think there's an issue with that, as long as the establishment is okay with that. And if they're not, then you can still take the gig if you need it. That's okay. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that you're above taking a gig. But it's up to you. It's in your discretion. If you know that you're gonna get another gig that day that could be higher, I might tell the other place, higher paying, I might tell the other place, I'm sorry, I was offered another gig, maybe next time. But you're always wanting to try to be at peace with all of your establishments, and be respectful towards what it is that they want and what it is they can handle, while also being respectful to yourself. And that was something that I had to learn, that was really, really hard, was respecting yourself as well, and learning how to respect the establishment. And sometimes things can be frustrating, but at the end of the day, you're providing a service and you want to build trust, and they need to build trust with you as well. So and most of them, if they have great establishments, they have the trust with the community. So it's all about building trust with that community that will help, I think, keep you going, keep you working. Also, I just have to say this, have a great attitude. When you come in the door, when you walk out, be thankful, have a great attitude. I think that you just need to you've got to be humble, and you've got to be thankful that they, let you come play, and that you're building a relationship with them, and you can start to build this reputation with them and in your community that you are a pleasant person to work with too. Your workability is pleasant. My last tip, I think we're on number 7, is kind of piggybacking off of what I just said of having a good attitude, is when you're done, when you're coming to your gig, you are friendly, you say, "Hi, thanks so much for having me, I'm excited," whatever. And when you're done, at the end of your gig, you need to make sure that you personally go find the manager or the person who booked you, and you need to go personally thank them and say, "Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. I would love to come play for you again. Just let me know. We'll talk about it." And the crazy thing with this is that when I go personally thank them and show them gratitude, they are happy to talk about future scheduling with me right then and there. So I might be booking another gig right there in front of them, or booking a whole year out in front of them. They're like, "Hey, let's get the calendar out and let's put you on the calendar. Let's get you on here for the rest of the year." And so that can be really rewarding when they're actually taking the time to do that with you right then and there, and it creates more of a relationship that is trusting. But to just show that gratitude, I think, means a lot to people, and it shows them that you're a real person, that it means a lot to you, and that you are also trying to show them respect as well. So do that, show the respect. If they don't book gigs with you, that's no problem. They're usually busy, doing other things anyway, but it's probably on their mind. So, maybe a week later, reach out, email them or send them a message online, "Hey, thanks," do a follow-up email. "Thanks so much for having me play again. I would love to know, if you have any more dates open, let me know, and I'm happy to fill them for you." And I get a lot of work by just having follow-up conversations with these people, even if it's just email. I do a lot of emailing. I don't really talk on the phone as much just because people, they're busy, right? So I end up communicating email or online, and they will usually try to schedule something else in. That has worked for me a lot. When you're first starting out doing this, it's kind of scary. Like, it was kind of scary for me, especially since I had just taught myself how to play guitar. That was a whole new animal that I had to figure out. It was quite a challenge. It's a challenging instrument. Just stick with the process, respect the process, and it's going to be challenging at times, but don't give up. That's my encouragement to you. Is I also have some students that I teach as well who are trying to play out more. And I think one of their biggest struggles is that sometimes you feel like you can hit a roadblock, or you feel like you hit a wall and you're like, why am I doing this? I really want to do this, but I don't know if I'm cut out for this, and I've had those thoughts too. Trust me, I've had those thoughts. But now I'm at a point where I am just like, I have gigged so much now, and I have put myself out there so much that now I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm not worried about these things anymore. And I've worked so hard that, if you can work hard, you've got a lot to show for, and that speaks for itself. And I tell some of my students, like, don't give up. Like, the harder you work, the more fruit you will see, the more good fruit that you will have from this, the more reward you will reap. If you don't work hard, if you say like, yeah, I want to do this and I want to book a gig, but you're not really practicing, or you're not really trying to put yourself out there on social media, it's going to be a little harder. I just think that it's going to be frustrating. So if you keep pushing, you keep practicing, you push through that pain, you push through any insecurity, intimidation, and you just say, I'm just going to do it because I know I want to, because it feels good, then you've got to do it. And there will be pressure and challenge that comes with that, but push through it and you will have the things that you want. I can just say that with confidence because I was someone who was not an instrumentalist before. I was clueless, and I had to teach myself. I had to buckle down and just like, I'm gonna do this. And it's a mindset. It's a total mindset that you have to stick with. And even if no one else believes in you, you got to do it for yourself, because you know you want to. So that's my encouragement to you. If this video helped you, let me know. If there's anything else that you would like me to talk about that is pertaining to this subject, like, I'm very happy to talk about it and share that information with you guys and help you along your way in your musical journey as well. Please if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have more original music content coming out. I like to post acoustic videos every once in a while, and I'm gonna try to do more informational videos for you, because if I had someone to tell me and coach me how to do this, I would have, but I just had to figure it out on my own. And some of that, knowing that, is really rewarding, because I can say, like, I created this. I got to know, like, how to do this for myself, and it works for me. Have fun with this, play some fun music, and it'll all work out for you.